Hi, I'm OKJ, and in 12 months' time, I'll be taking my Chinese O-level exams for the very first time. During my efforts to pass my lower primary test papers recently, there had been some online chatter about a few commentaries regarding the appreciation of the Chinese language among students in Singapore, or more specifically, the lack thereof. Now, naturally, given the journey that I'm on, it feels only appropriate that I dissect what was being discussed and perhaps I can uncover something that I can learn. For all this, we have to start at the very beginning, which is a commentary by a Li Ai, which was first published on May 10th on Singapore's largest Chinese language newspaper publication, Lianhe Zaobao. Li Ai herself is an ex-Chinese reporter as well as a mother of 3 kids who are currently in Primary 4, Primary 2, and Secondary 1. After observing the experiences of her children, she pondered as to why 华文课程为何引不起孩子兴趣。It is clear that while her piece was incredibly blunt, it came from an aching heart. 我本身非常热爱华文，也特别希望3个孩子都可以像我这样喜欢它，并在学习中找出乐趣，成为名副其实的双语双文化人才。Now, it's worth mentioning that it took a lot of time and assistance for me to read what I just read. And so I can feel and empathize with what Li Ai's anguish is towards the perceived state of the Chinese language in Singapore. After all, this is the mother tongue in which she grew up in. But now, even when she visited her alma mater, it was an environment that felt almost foreign. Now, her commentary also directed frustrations towards an apparent lack of development in the school curriculum. For instance, she said that 我孩子课本的内容几乎30年都没变过，跟我当年的学习模式几乎没有不同。可想而知，这样的课程有多么枯燥乏味。在这媒体充斥的年代，怎么能带动孩子学习华文的积极性？ And that, to be honest, is the beauty of such public forums, which provides an avenue for members of society to engage in national conversations. And that is exactly what happened, because a week after Li Ai's commentary, there was a response piece by someone named Hao Tongxue. 我是一名小学生，读了李阿姨的文章后，觉得她很重视华文教育，也提出了自己的看法和担忧。 Hao Tongxue's intent was to build on a few aspects of Li Ai's commentary. He disagreed that the curriculum was outdated, which was accused by Li Ai to be basically the same as 30 years ago. Hao Tongxue made his case convincingly, stating that both the primary and secondary school textbooks were updated in 2015 and 2021 respectively, and that the advances in technology and the internet has been so integral to his learning process. So how can one even bring up the notion that learning Chinese today is the same as 30 years ago? It just didn't make sense to him. But that was just half of his commentary titled 学不好华文不能怪课本和教室. Hao Tongxue passionately defended the positive learning environment that he and his classmates looked forward to every session. 我的老师教作文也很棒，他经常利用好几节课的时间，教我们怎么将作文写得具体、生动，而且他还会拿出一些佳作，跟我们分析到底写得好在哪里。我相信不只是我的老师每天用心地为学生备课，各校的老师都会尽力去教书的。如果他们看到李阿姨的这篇文章，估计会伤心的。Hao Tongxue's writing went viral shortly after its publication, a mix of an astonishment to the quality of his writing, as well as the blunt snapbacks that were reflected in the same unforgiving tone as Li Ai. If nothing else, Li Ai should breathe a huge sigh of relief, knowing that not all is lost in terms of the future generation's appreciation for the Chinese language and other mother tongues. This becomes even more apparent when a third commentary was added to the mix, this time by Cheng Xiansheng, who is an incoming university freshman with a diploma in Chinese studies. 自我读小学开始，周围许多朋友对华文都没有兴趣，认为不比其他科目重要。每当我和陌生人提起自己来自中文 细时，所遇到的反应大都是惊讶。Chen Xianzheng acknowledged the merits of both of the previous commentaries and placed it in the context of the bigger picture, which is Singapore's struggle with bilingualism, a struggle that I know very personally. As he puts it, 两篇文章都指英文是导致华文不被重视的原因之一。在以英语为主的大环境下，华语与其他母语自然处于劣势地位，这也影响新一代华人如何看待英语和华语的重要性。There are undeniable tensions that we as a people have with languages in the context of identity, belonging, and opportunities. There's this particular portion of Chen Xianzheng's piece that spoke directly to me. 抖音上就有一位从事纪录片摄影工作的我国华族青年，在进行一项自我挑战，希望在18个月内学好中文，并在2023年参加欧水准华文考试。虽然值得鼓励，但这不能成为社会主流现象，否则就违反从小培育孩童对华文产生兴趣的正面意义。To read this series in the context of another person's commentary is, to be honest, pretty special. And I'm grateful to have learned from these 3 commentaries over the past few days. It showed me that the journey in learning Chinese, or to be honest, any language, is most effective when people are involved. Or, as Chen Xianzheng concisely puts it, 我国华文教育情况值得共同反思。Paragraph 6, take too many times. 可想而知。再次，媒体什么？我是一名小试生。小试生吗？
小试生。No H。
读了李阿姨的，